Hey everyone, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today, as you can see, it's going to be Ghostbusters for the Sega Master System. Yeah, really fun game on the system, actually. Unlike the Nintendo Entertainment System version, because I know someone's gonna comment to be like, but this is a horrible game based on the NES one. It's like, well, no, actually, the Master System one is a really fun game. And you guys will see what I mean once we get right into it. So, yeah, you can type your name in. And you get money, and you can buy cars. Unfortunately, the fastest car, you never have enough money to buy. You have to actually play a game, get a password, start the game over, and then you can buy the sport's fastest car. But I like to go with the $6,000 car. For one, it allows us to carry the most amount of items. You do have an item limit, and there's no way to sell items in this game, so you need to pick, choose your items carefully. It's the fastest of the basic bunch. So I always recommend playing with this car and buying that. Then you got $4,000 left over after you do that to buy a few things. So one thing you really want to do is get some ghost traps. I don't really recommend the high capacity traps. They don't really seem to do a whole lot. So I like to just buy a couple of ghost traps. We'll buy a handful of them. Let's just buy 4. Because every trip is going to use up 1 ghost trap. The ghost bait is really important, and I'll explain that later on. The ghost vacuum is also really important, and I'll explain that later as well. Laser confinement system is probably good when you can afford it. You will be able to afford it eventually. Some of these other ones, not really that important. Super ghost vacuum, for instance, is just kind of like a waste of money. Your regular ghost vacuum basically does the same thing. So that's usually what I like to go with. The PK energy detector. Yeah, we'll go with, why not? Let's just go with that one too. That's sort of, yeah. And the marshmallow sensor, we'll just leave that for later. So we've got 7 parts, we've got 4 more we can buy. And let's just get right into the game. So with Ghostbusters, you've got this map screen. And you can basically move to a flashing building, or any building. You can really go to any building you want, but it's just wasting time if you do that. You want to go to the flashing building. That means that there's paranormal activity there. And there's ghosts. And then you can kill the ghosts. Or not kill the ghosts, but... well, it's a video game. You're probably killing them. But you're actually capturing the ghosts. You can press button 1 to switch between the Ghostbusters, and you can press button 2 to capture the ghosts. So basically, use your beams to bring the ghosts in. Let's actually go back to the shop, since I got a little bit of money already. So if you actually run across a ghost on the map screen, the ghost will actually appear in the driving section. And that's what the ghost vacuums are for. And, so, Super Marshmallow sensor, why not? That's going to be for later when the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man starts appearing. So one thing I actually do sometimes is, if there's nothing happening, I'll literally just go back to HQ, refill my traps. It basically empties out my traps. And I'll use the ghost vacuum on little ghosts like this. That'll give you extra money. I think each ghost on the driving section is like a couple $100, so you're getting free money. You press button 1 to use your ghost traps. I'm sorry, ghost vacuum. And then other times like this, I just sort of wait for something to happen. So pretty much everywhere, every little dot you see on the map is where you're going to drive to. Let's go capture that ghost. Come on. We'll capture that ghost. And since that's purple, that's my PK energy detector doing its thing. There might actually be some ghosts there when we arrive there, so we'll see what happens. So the driving sections you gotta be careful about. If you run into cars from the side, they sort of play bumper cars with you. They bump you around. Cars can crush you and destroy your car. It doesn't actually kill you, but it does slow you down. So speed is important in this game. How fast you play is important in this game. Because you can arrive at a scene and there will be no more ghosts. The ghosts will have gone away. So that's money you missed out on. But on the driving scenes, you also don't want to hit the cars from behind. You might die in one hit, or blow up in one hit. Again, you don't really die until the end of the game, where you can actually get a game over. Laser confinement system. We might want the laser confinement system. Again, everything else is just kind of not really necessary, so I just figured I'd go here to kill some time, because obviously not much is happening right now. There aren't really any flashing buildings or anything. And we pretty much just have to wait for that. But I'm still getting money for you know, capturing these little ghosts on the driving sections. So again, you just press button number 1 and you activate the ghost vacuum. You can use it as many times as you want. It's one of the power-ups in this game you can just use pretty much infinitely, which is nice. The ghost bait, which I'll explain later on, and of course there weren't going to be any ghosts here because the building wasn't flashing, but here's a flashing building. But I still got like $700 or $800 just for, you know, capturing those ghosts while driving. So, you know, it's kind of all about building money in this game. And especially with that password, when you get through the game, you can get another password, which will let you restart the game with all the money you had. And then you can buy the best car in the game by doing that. And potentially with starting off with more money as well. Let's go refill our traps. The game will actually tell you when you're out of traps if you try to go to a different building or a different set of buildings. So there's nothing like having some flashing buildings on the screen and then not having the traps to actually capture the ghosts. So you have to drive all the way back to HQ, refill your traps. And it just kills time. So oh, look, we got some Slimers. So there's not a whole lot of variations in the actual ghosts that you capture on the first part of the game. It's mostly those yellow ghosts, it's the Slimers, there might be another type, and I think that's about it. So we're going to go ahead and just kill some more time. Just capture these guys on the trip. So, people are probably wondering about the NES version of this game, and, I don't remember the exact history about Ghostbusters the video game. I think it might have been originally a computer game. I should have done some research before doing this Let's Play, but I believe it was, originally an Activision game on computers, and this was before Activision turned into the Activision that we know and love today. I try to say that as sarcastically as possible. And that old Activision Ghostbusters game was ported to a bunch of different systems. Even the Atari 2600 had a version of this game. The Nintendo Entertainment System had a version of this game. But unfortunately, not all versions of Ghostbusters were made equal. The Master System version, from what I understand, as far as consoles go, is easily seen as the best version. It's colorful, it's fun, the music sounds solid for a Master System game. It works really well, actually, as a game. I really like Ghostbusters on the Master System. The 8-bit Nintendo version, unfortunately, is really lacking. Oh, see, I have no MP traps. It's telling me that I have to go back to HQ now. The NES version is just ugly to look at. It's broken in certain cases in terms of the gameplay. It's just a mess, and there's been a bunch of videos on it online. I actually tried playing it before October this year, thinking, oh, I can do a Let's Play of that. I can beat the Master System one, and no, it's stupid difficult, and not in like a good way at all. So, yeah, the NES version is really a broken mess. Not very fun, unfortunately, but the Master System version is actually a really solid game. Definitely worth owning on the Master System. Especially once you figure out what you have to do. The game is a little obtuse at first if you've never played it before, but when you learn what to do, which it's actually not even that complex, but once you learn what to do, it's a lot of fun. It's maybe not the kind of game that's going to give you the most replay value, but it is a solid game, and definitely a keeper on the Master System. Back in the day when, like, you know, retro collecting was kind of a new thing, you know, and people were talking online about, like, NES versus Master System. Ghostbusters on the Master System was always brought up as one of the quote-unquote better games on the system. But with the rise of, like, internet video and the popularity of, you know, game bashing in certain cases, you know, like really bad NES games, you know, and I think Ghostbusters on the NES has kind of overshadowed the Master System version to the point where people kind of forget there is a Master System version now, which is kind of weird. Because back in the day, we used to be like, yeah, Ghostbusters on Master System, that's a great game. And so yeah, if you've never played this before, I do recommend trying it out if it looks interesting to you. It's not an expensive game either. A lot of Master System games in North America, the ones that were sold relatively decently back in the day, you know, still pretty cheap today to acquire, even complete in box. And I think Ghostbusters is one of those. That's one of those games that I knew a lot of people had. A lot of people that had Master Systems back in the day had this game. And I think it actually, gameplay-wise, it still holds up relatively decently. I think towards the end of the game, it falls a little short. I'm not as big of a fan of going to the Zool Tower at the end of this game, because you can actually get a game over very, very quickly, and it's quite difficult. You guys will see what I mean once we get there. I think we're probably about halfway to that point. I have no empty traps again. So I have to go back to HQ, which sucks because I've got 2 flashing buildings. Gotta watch out for those maintenance signs. The manholes that are open have roadblocks. And if you hit those, you explode. So, you know, the longer you play the game, and mostly the higher the PK energy meter gets, the city's PK energy, the faster things will happen in the game. And eventually the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man starts appearing and starts bashing the city to pieces. And I think if too much of the city... Oh, see, there we go. I think if too much of the city gets destroyed, I think you get a game over. I think you basically get fired by the mayor or something like that. It's actually kind of dumb, but you do get a game over. There had to be some kind of reason to get a game over, I guess. Let's see if those other buildings are still flashing. We got 2 more traps. So I noticed the PK meter was flashing on this one. And it's still flashing. Nope, still no ghosts. There we go. So I think the PK meter basically, you know, it signifies buildings or blocks that are likely to have some activity. And I got the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man detector. So there's a white building there. And that means the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is going to come and destroy that building most likely. But I can use the ghost bait right now, just like that. The ghosts were actually coming together to form the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which would have actually destroyed that building. So we're going to go ahead and refill our traps. That's why the ghost bait's really important, because you can keep buildings from getting destroyed by using it at the right time. Now I'd like to thank a fellow Twitch and YouTube viewer, Insane Wayne, who actually helped me with all these you know, tips and tricks in this game. I still don't know as much about this game as I probably should for doing a Let's Play like this, but you know, he informed me about the ghost bait and you know, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, the ghost vacuum on the driving sections and all that stuff. He was really a big help in learning how to play this game for October 2016. I probably should have come up with some fancy name for this month's, you know, horror-themed Let's Plays, but as you guys know, I don't usually think that far ahead. Alright, so there's going to be another Stay Puft incident. That building is still white. Now I wonder if anything happens if you go to the buildings when they are white. I kind of want to try that out and see what happens. I don't think anything happens, to be honest with you, but it's something to try to mess around with, try to experiment with. And there it is, we just used some more ghost bait. And I have one more trap. Let's go refill our traps. Go empty our traps. I'm gonna go to the building and see what happens. I don't think anything's gonna happen, but... And then when I come out, hopefully I'll have some ghost bait. I can't really tell how the ghost bait works. Like, it feels like it's limited in certain cases. Yeah, nothing here. It'd be funny if, like, a foot came down and, like, tried to stomp you. That would have been really neat if that actually happened. Alright, so I'm gonna go to the shop after this and see what I can do there. Maybe get a laser confinement system. It doesn't really matter that much. I mean, we're actually towards the end of the game already. Ghostbusters is not a very long game, as long as you play just right. Yeah, we're actually at the end now. So this is probably my least favorite part coming up, because it's really difficult, actually. I've actually got game overs here many times. And if I get a game over here, then, well, so be it. So the goal here is to get 2 Ghostbusters through Stay Puft. And I like to do it from the right-hand side. You just kind of want to wait. And then just time it properly. As long as you get 2 in, then you're in this section. You got to go all the way to the top, and you have 3 chances to get to the top. You only have to get 1 Ghostbuster to the top here. And by pressing button 1, you can shoot diagonally up in the air. And by shooting... pressing button 2, you can shoot straight ahead. And from what I'm told, it's best to just try to rush this part as quickly as possible. The ghosts that are kind of like, you know, horizontal, they just sort of like flutter up a little bit. But the ghosts that, like that guy down there, who's kind of sitting back on his ghostly hind legs, they actually shoot projectiles. So very dangerous. You can actually shoot the projectiles back. Not shoot them back, but you can destroy the projectiles. Oh, see, that was bad. I got hit. So that Ghostbuster is gone, unfortunately. So I have 2 more tries. So let's hope we can do this. It'd be nice to be able to see the end of the game. But it's not guaranteed in this playthrough, unfortunately. And sometimes you can just time your attack. So right as they appear, you can actually kill them. The timing is a little weird. Come on. Getting close, getting close. That's what the game wants me to say. It's like, we're almost there, and then a ghost appears and I die. And that's it. Wow, we made it. Okay, awesome. Okay, now this next part is the final section of the game, and it's also pretty tough. You actually face off with Zool. You basically just have to shoot the boss and dodge the enemy's projectiles. So I recommend just trying to stay as far back as possible. You gotta watch out for the dog projectiles as well. The demon dogs from the movie. Now, Zool's projectiles are insanely fast. So it's really hard to dodge them. I prefer to just stay, you know, to the far left or far right or something like that. And that's it! Nice! We just beat Ghostbusters in the Master System. It literally took us 20 minutes. It's not a very long game when you learn how to get through it, but it is a really fun game. And you win a whopping $5,000 for beating the game. So there you have it, guys. Ghostbusters on the Sega Master System. Like I said, it's a really fun game. I don't know everything there is to know about this game, so if you want to know more details, I would go to GameFAQs or something like that. Look up a walkthrough for the game. There's actually a lot of detail to the game in terms of like the items and what they do and stuff like that, but it's not necessary to buy every item. I mean, hell, we only went back to the shop once, and that was in the very beginning of the game. I meant to go back again, but the city's PK energy just maxed out, so which means you're pretty much stuck going to the final part of the game. But yeah, I like this game. You should give it a try if you think it looks interesting, and especially if you're a fan of the Ghostbusters. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap things up here, guys. So again, October 2016, we're doing Halloween-themed or horror-themed Let's Plays all this month. So stay tuned for more horror-themed Let's Play goodness. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I've got lots of Let's Plays on here and many more to come. For all you guys out there already subbed, thanks as usual. And I'll catch you guys soon. So until then, take it easy.